Nope, 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 nope. And broadcast. Well, I don't know why it says consistency creates confidence, because it's goal setting for the new year. Save changes. You gotta love technology. Goal setting for the new year. Ready? Let's try this again. Training, goal setting. Could be that I did it at 6 o'clock this morning originally. Save changes. Let's see if that makes a difference. Nope. All right. Well, if you were here, bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to try something else. Do give your access to StreamYard, please. Escape. Well, here's where, let's try this. Add banner. There we go. Well, who knows? I disappeared and then I came back. So just an example of how perfection is perception. You know, if this was a opportunity that I was sitting here in front of clients that were paying me, you just got to keep your cool. So we're going to roll with this and use it as a little bit of a training. So sometimes technology is awesome. Sometimes it's not. I am actually operating today without notes. The last couple of mini trainings felt a little bit, I don't know, contrived. So I want to point out to you, there's a little, looks like a duck up in the corner. It says powered by StreamYard. And if you would give access to StreamYard, what it does is it allows me to see who's here. So when you comment, I don't see just Facebook user, I see your name so that I can say hello, answer your questions specifically, and it's just a little bit more friendly. So if you're here live, go ahead and give access to StreamYard. If you're here for a replay, hello. Oh, okay. Now, how do I pronounce your name? Bana Singh. That's what I'm going to say. So I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. And I'm sorry if I did not pronounce your name properly. Interior designer, Bana Singh. So everybody else, drop a howdy. We're going to wait just a minute or two until we get started. We're talking about goal setting for the new year. I mean, here it is. Can you believe it is the end of the first week of January? It's crazy. I still have Christmas shopping to do. It has been such a year. Oh, yay. I did pronounce it right. I appreciate that. It's been such a year. Usually I'm done with my Christmas shopping by June or July-ish. And this year has just been a year for the books all around. And I just said, Facebook user, hello. Hit the StreamYard button and give it access. There's another Facebook user. It says, hello. There's 3. Please head on up to the StreamYard and give them access so I can say hello to you personally. I would really appreciate it. It doesn't take your information. It doesn't share it with anybody. It's not a hack. It's just StreamYard allows me to share this video, and you can see the captions and stuff below. There's Beth. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And then, so it allows me, StreamYard just allows me to have the captions. It allows me to have this little banner now that I've got it working. So it's not going to steal your information and sell it to the Russians or the Chinese government or anything like that, I promise. Or it doesn't sell it to Facebook, which is just about the same. So anyway, we are here today to talk about goal setting for the new year. So again, if you're here live, say hello. If you are coming back and watching this in a replay, hit me with the hashtag replay so that I can respond to you as well. Because this time together, I think, is really important. I I love doing these little mini trainings and pray that they help you. Your feedback is always appreciated. I am putting together a workshop actually in February that I'm super excited about. So I'm working on that right now, although I'm trying to take off a lot of December. There's still always something to do, but I love doing this, just like you probably love designing. So here we go. Hello, Regina. Oh, it's good to see you again. Thank you for joining me. So goals. Let me just first start off by saying that goals can be super scary because we put so much pressure on ourselves that really is not necessary. So let me just first tell you right now that if the thought of goal setting for 2021 either freaks you out or you're just like, yeah, I'm just not going to do it because I don't really reach my goals, well, then let's talk about how to make them simple. Goals are, I used to think that there was some sort of secret formula that I just didn't know about that I was supposed to be aware of. And at the end of the day, goals are really basically just taking some of the data that you might have had before. And 2020 is going to be a weird year to draw from. So basically, you're pulling a lot of this information out of your ear. So give yourself the ability to not be perfect in creating goals. Goals are something to shoot for. I do suggest aiming higher than what you think you can manage because there's a bit of a manifestation that goes there. So let's just talk revenue. Okay. Let's not talk profitability. Let's not talk about number of clients. Let's not talk about type of projects. Let's not talk about different projects that you want to get done, like maybe a new website or whatever. Let's just talk about revenue because it's easy to use numbers. And I'm making these numbers up. These are not going to be expectations for yourself or for anybody else. I'm probably going to use very easy round numbers because, math. So let's just say you want your revenue. That's going to be the total money that you generate for your business this year to be, let's just say $500,000. Okay. And you want to take home $100,000. This is totally possible. As a solopreneur, this is totally possible. So what you're doing is you are setting that up, you're writing it down, and you are aiming. And what you're doing is whenever you're thinking about your goals over 2021, and we're going through this exercise that I'm going to teach you, you're going to be focusing on 500,000, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000. What happens is you're putting this energy out to the universe. And y'all know that I love Jesus, and I do swear a little bit. I love Jesus, but I'm also very woo-woo. I believe that God created the universe and that God put all of this energy for us to use as a give and a take in relation to into where we live. Sorry, my hair's making me crazy today. So when I say the universe, know that I'm coming from an overall spectrum, but take it however you need to, because regardless of what you believe, the universe has energy. What you put out, you get back. When you're sending out love, you're getting love back. When you're sending out desperation, what you attract is not quite, I take this from me when I was dating in my 20s. When you send out desperation and loneliness, you don't attract the right type of energy back. So when we're sending out the intent to generate $500,000 in revenue, then you will be getting that back. You will be attracting clients that are bringing you good projects. And Regina says, right now, getting project is all I'm thinking about because people here are talking spend only on essentials a bit too seriously. Well, what we're also wanting to do is we're wanting to tell them that where they start and their day is essential. So add that to your marketing as a side note for all of us. Like, tell people how their home affects their mental state. And we're all in a little bit of a wacky mental state right now. So it's a good way to talk to some of your prospective clients. Setting your 2021 goals, whether it is attracting your ideal client profile, whether it is attracting large projects, whatever it is, this is going to turn into money. So again, I'm just using money as an example. When you're setting goals, your easiest way to do is to think about SMART goals. Some of you might have heard this acronym before. SMART is going to be specific. So you want to be very specific about your goals. And you're going to have multiple goals. So for example, you'll have a revenue goal, and then you'll have an take-home goal. So I'm hoping you're paying yourself an annual salary, and then some at the end of the year. One of your goals might be to revise your website. That's on my list this probably second or third quarter. Some of your goals might be to create a branding package or to outsource your social media. Whatever goals you have, they need to be specific, because that way they're measurable. So for SMART is specific. M is measurable. That way, as you're making progress towards your goal, that you are able to measure it. And you're also able to measure it at the end of the year. So if we are talking a specific number of revenue, then you can measure it. So if your goal is 500,000 and you get to 499,000, then it's measurable. If you get to 550,000, it's measurable. But what you're doing is you're going to be measuring it over the course of the year. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But specific, I'm going to revise my website so that it is more search engine optimization friendly. I'm going to revise my website so that the albums and the portfolios are the first thing that people see. I'm going to revise my website so that it feels light and airy, because that's the direction that I'm going. I'm going to revise my website and flip-flop my brand colors. I'm going to revise my website so that my contact us form is a little bit more user-friendly. Now, some of these things that you don't have to revise your entire website to do these. I'm just being very specific about them. Measurable. So S is specific, M is measurable. A is achievable. So $500,000, as the example that I was talking about, might not feel achievable. But when you sit down and you start breaking it down and you look at it from a number standpoint, it very well could be achievable. It might be a stretch, which is fine. Like, make it a stretch, because if you're only shooting for $250,000, then that's the energy that you're sending out to the universe. 250, 250, 250, 250. You get stuck at 250. Why not aim for a little bit higher? Now, if you're brand new in business and this is your first year, or you started in 2020 and you haven't had a lot of traction, well, then bring it down to what's reasonable. Now, 500,000 might be low for some of you guys. You might be reaching for 750. That's okay. Hell, you might just be happy to make 50,000, in revenue this year. So everybody's goals are going to be different. But my point is that make them achievable, but make them a stretch. You don't want it to be easy so you can say, oh, I crushed my goals, because nobody's like measuring you. You are your own boss. You are your worst critic. So make it a stretch, but achievable. So for myself, let's just say one of my goals is consistently, it seems, is to get to a weight that is achievable. And I'm not comfortable enough saying my weight on this platform right now, but I could stand to lose 20 to 30 pounds. So I have a goal weight that's achievable, even though it's a stretch. So that is my goal in my head. And like I said, nobody knows about it. Like, my husband doesn't even know the number that I'm aiming for. It's in my mind. It's achievable, but it's also relevant. So let's talk about R. S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is achievable, R is relevant. When it comes to my goal of losing weight, which some of you guys might be able to relate to, relevant when I was in my 20s is going to be different than relevant than when I'm in my 50s. That's the same thing for your business. Relevant goals needs to be, whether it's your revenue or whether it is your website or whether it is a certain number of clients that have furniture sales or a certain number of clients that have just construction. A relevant goal would not be for you to an irrelevant goal, is that the right word? Is irrelevant the right word? I think it's the right word. Would be for you to to get published in House Beautiful if your overarching goal is to make, $100,000, because it takes so much work and so much effort to get published that it's a distraction from the actual overarching goal of making $500,000 for the year. Now, it might be a building block that you want to get published in House Beautiful so that you can use that for your next year's goal to increase your business and maybe bring it to 750,000 by using that as a platform in which to brag about. Because we all have to admit that being able to brag about being in House Beautiful would attract some clients. Now, keep in mind, it could detract clients because they think they can't afford you. So, you know, there's a different side to every sword. So relevant is key. It might be your goal is to get into a brick and mortar studio. Is that really necessary for your overarching goal of an annual income, an annual revenue of $500,000? So keep it relevant. So specific. $500,000 is the revenue that I anticipate my goal to bring to generate. And then my goal is to bring home $100,000 of that you can pay yourself. Measurable, $500,000, $100,000, that's very measurable. Achievable, is it achievable? I'm pulling these numbers out of my ear. So it might be achievable for one of you. It might not be achievable for the other of you. And that's okay. Everybody's at a different point in the journey. Relevant. Okay, so revenue is relevant to our business because we're not here for charity. We're not giving this stuff away. But you have to be able to ensure that what you're doing is relevant to your overarching goal, and it might not just be for the ego. And finally, it's time bound. So you might have multiple goals for the new year that you want, things that you want to accomplish, but they might not be for the entire 12 months. I want to have a new website up and running by the end of the second quarter. I want to have this workshop for you guys done by the middle of Feb and offered it by the middle of February. So there's different goals, but it all feeds up into your overarching goal. So think of that as SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So there's only those 5 things. Where's my camera? 5 things. And keep in mind, this is for you. This is for you. If you blow this out of the water and let's say you're hitting that $500,000 goal by August, well, then you can revise your goals. If you are at 100,000 by August, then, and you're thinking there's no way I'm going to get to 500,000 by the end of the year, well, then you can revise your goal, or you can keep it exactly where it is and just recognize that you didn't hit it. But then you go back and you review why you didn't hit it. So take a look at the numbers. So when it comes to creating goals from anything that you're doing with numbers, like the number of calls that you have, the number of clients that say yes in relation to those calls, the design fees that you're charging, the revenue that you're generating, you always need to go back and look at some of your previous data points. If you don't have them, you just make them up and you analyze them as you go. So how do you go about implementing the goals that you have? Well, you start with the biggest goal that you have. I keep talking about your overarching goal. This is going to be your big, hairy, scary goal. And by hairy, scary, I mean that it's going to be a stretch to achieve it. But you have that hairy, scary goal. So that should be your number one driver. And a lot of the other things are what support it. So if I have a goal for an X number of revenue, my website that I keep talking about revising, reviewing, upgrading, whatever it is, that's going to feed into my overarching goal because it's going to potentially confirm some of the ideal client profiles that come to my website and see who I am, what I do, what my team does, some of the projects that we have, and the overall feel that goes with it. So it could potentially help convert them to actual signing and paying clients versus just prospective clients. So that feeds into my annual goal. So the way you can take a look at your goals is you start with the annual goal. Now that's the easy one: specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. But then you can also break it down into quarterly. So if you have other sub goals, or if you just want to talk about this one overarching goal of $500,000 in revenue, then what you can do is that's your annual goal. Then you break it down into quarters. So if you're gonna take your $500,000, you can take a look and see when your busiest seasons have been in years past. 2020, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm not using a lot of the data from it to create my next year's goals from a revenue standpoint because it was just thrown out the window. Generally, like 5 years ago, we were dead in June and July. 4, 3, and 2 years ago, we were slammed in the summertime. So I'm going to take that information because, in June in 2020, we were just waiting for the world to open up again. So you take your total and you can break it down by quarter, divide it by 4 as you need to. But then you can also adjust it for when your busy season is. Is this your busy season? Is your busiest season Q4? Ours is Q3, Q4, Q2. Q1's kind of slow. We'll see what it looks like this year. But you take it annually and then you break it down quarterly. So how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. So you take it from the annual goal and then you take it to your quarterly goal. From your quarterly goal, you might say, okay, so I want to get $500,000 in revenue. Here's what I'm going to do this quarter. And it might be creating your ideal client profile, finding your own unique voice, and being able to market to their pain points. So what Bonna was speaking about earlier about projects that people are just spending only on essentials, maybe your focus for the first quarter is going to be talking about how the home is an essential part of everybody's life, health, and success. So then you're going to be working on that. And then your second quarter might be something else, and your third quarter and your fourth quarter. And it all trickles over, and there's going to be crossover. So don't hesitate to think that you're not going to do one and not the other. If it's working, you carry it over. But then you take that to quarterly, and then monthly, you can go ahead and you can break it down by month. So if we're talking about your marketing plan, trying to educate your audience that your home is essential and that you should be spending on it, well, then what are you going to be doing monthly? Maybe monthly you're doing a blog. Maybe you're talking about how your master bedroom should be your retreat and how it refreshes you every morning when you wake up, and how it nurtures you at night as a little cocoon that you can come home and safely relax from it. And I say at home, we're all working from home, but maybe you just retreat to it. So monthly, maybe you come up with a blog post that does that. And from that monthly blog post, weekly, you could go ahead and create a social media post that feeds back into it every week. And then daily, you are just creating tasks on your planner as to what you need to be doing to continue to move forward. So setting goals shouldn't be scary. They do need to be specific. If they're not specific, then you're playing small and you're hiding from the fear of failure. And I understand that, but fear of the failure is still success, because you're getting up every day and you're a freaking warrior, not warrior, not WORRIER, warrior, WARRIOR. You are a warrior if you are in business for yourself. I hope you guys realize that. If you're in business for yourself, you are already a badass, because this is not easy to wake up and try to create something from nothing every day. So creating goals, you need to reach deep down inside and get past that fear of failure, because you are not a failure if you don't hit your goal. You are a failure if you're not trying every day to be better than you were yesterday. So goals are something that you need to write down. They're very personal. You don't have to write them down and post them on a billboard outside your freeway at your local, wherever you live. Nobody's going to judge you if you don't hit them. You're your own worst critic, but it's really not you. It's that committee that's inside your brain telling you you're not worthy and you're dumb or you're whatever your words are. So don't listen to that committee in your brain. I'm going to challenge you right now. Go create some goals for 2021 that are smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. If you want to DM me and tell me what you're thinking about doing, I'd love to hear it. I will be a big cheerleader for you. I'm not going to judge you if you say, hey, I want to hit 100,000. I want to hit 50,000. I want to hit 1 million. I want to hit 500,000, whatever it is for you. And then whatever it becomes at the end of the year. If you need an accountability partner, that's going to be part of the beauty of having this community that we have here, is that you guys are going to be making connections, people who should be cheering you on, people who want to create and not compete. So I challenge you, go create some goals. You've got a couple weeks left in this year. We're going to talk about how I think New Year's resolutions, they kind of suck, but goals, they work. So go write them down, go focus on them, go manifest your dreams, because I know you can do it. And we're here together weekly to continue moving that needle forward. And then my workshop in February, I'm super excited about it. So being a startup, is there any other way to get projects if we don't want to buy leads from any company? Oh, girl, I totally am not a fan of buying leads. If you're a startup, your best bet is to confirm that you have good search engine optimization on your website. You will need an expert to do that more so than yourself, unless you have plenty of time to do that. Because what they're doing is they're looking for what words are being searched, and Google Analytics can help you with that. It's a free service. You just sign up for Google Analytics. What words are being searched in your community? Dallas interior designer, best Dallas interior design, Dallas decorator, Dallas, this, that, or the other. Right now, what's trending for me really hard is how to select light fixtures, how to select light fixtures in your kitchen, how to match your light fixtures throughout your house. Like, I have gotten a ton of traction from that, because that's what people are searching here in the Dallas area, probably because they're trying to do it themselves and not wanting to hire an interior designer to pick out light fixtures. So find out what's trending in your area, and that's what you start working towards. So you start putting it in your blogs, because if you're not blogging, Google thinks that your website is dead. So it has to have something fresh all the time. And this is what's going to come up, because people search it and they're like, oh, how to pick out my over the kitchen sink count lights. I mean, like, go back to my MLIG, Michelle and MLinteriorsgroup.com, and you'll see a lot of my blog posts right now are all about lighting. I'm getting some juice from it. So rock on. If nothing else, like, you find out what your clients' pain points are. Like, what about home offices? How to create a home office. So, and I think one of my upcoming blog posts is how to create an ideal home office so you're not working from the kitchen table. So these are the things that people might be searching for. And that's a great way to start getting leads. I don't suggest buying them. So you can do that. You can do guest speaking at different areas or on different platforms. So if you know of any real estate offices that are looking for a speaker, you could do that. If there's anybody that you can cross promote that also serves interior designers, so maybe some of your social media people that serve interior designers, or not interior designers, that would be for me, but that serve your homeowners. So maybe something at the Home Depot, maybe something at Lowe's. You're not looking for those DIYers. You're looking to elevate yourself in that respect. So look for something, get creative where you don't have to pay for it. And that might be your goals, is to have 5 speaking engagements within the first 6 months of the year, so that you're talking to and you're educating. You want to give your knowledge away to your prospective clients. So that they can see, one, that you're an expert, but also that you can't just go, that there's a lot more to picking paint colors and light fixtures and so forth. So good, Bonna. I'm so sorry. I need to put my contacts in. I'm glad that helps. So goals, don't be afraid to set them. Be very specific. Do not play small, because you all have the potential to knock it out of the park in 2021. Do not believe that this whole pandemic should be slowing your business down. Believe that people need your services now more than ever, and it will come to you. So that's all I've got for setting goals. I really, really hope that each of you go and take that advice, set them, focus on them over the course of the year. I actually write a lot of my goals on my bathroom mirror with I don't have one, with a dry erase marker. So write it up there so that you see it every day, and then you can work towards it. So thank you so much. Again, if you're here watching the replay, hit me with a hashtag replay. If you're here live. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be here again next week and the week after and the week after and the week after and the week after. So I think the Christmas week, it's the 23rd. So I will still be here. And if you guys have questions, drop them into the group and at me if they're specific, but I love the conversations that are going on right now. So I will see you in the group. Thanks for joining me.